Welcome to Bat Signals from the Multiverse, your weekly spotlight on comics, TV, and cinema. I'm Bradley Butin, the Emperor of Awesome, lighting up the sky for the stories that deserve your attention. Each week, I shine the light on one title, breaking down what the critics and fans are saying, comparing their thoughts across IMDb, Letterboxd, Rotten Tomatoes, and see where the truth really lands. Then I'll serve up my own verdict using the Signal review system, shining the light on plot, acting, entertainment, visuals, and rewatchability to see how bright the story really burns. And finally, we wrap things up with the Signal Awards. It's not happening today because I've been gone for a while. I had to take some hiatus. I needed some personal time, and so the Signal went out, but it's back on now. And hopefully no more breaks. But you know what? I have a life, and I had stuff to do. So there we go. But a big movie came out, and I wanted to get to it as soon as I could. Wicked for Good. Let's go ahead and get right into the synopsis of the movie. And that is Elphaba, the future Wicked Witch of the West, and her relationship with Glinda, the Good Witch of the North. The second of a two-part feature film adaptation of the Broadway musical. The Creatives is directed by John Chu. He's known for Wicked, In the Heights, Crazy Rich Asians, and believe it or not, G.I. Joe Retaliation. This is written by, based on the musical stage play with music and lyrics by and from the novel by Stephen Schwartz, Winnie Holtzman, and Gregory Maguire. And the screenplay for the movie is by Winnie Holtzman and Dana Fox. Now, the top stars of the movie is Cynthia Erivo, plays Elphaba, known for Wicked, Harriet, Bad Times at the El Royale, such a great movie, and Widows. Ariana Grande plays Glinda from Wicked, Don't Look Up, Brighter Days Ahead, and Victorious. Jeff Goldblum plays the wonderful Wizard of Oz from Jurassic Park, The Fly, Grand Budapest Hotel, and Independence Day. Michelle Yeoh plays Madame Morrible from Everything Everywhere All at Once, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Wicked, and Kung Fu Panda 2. Jonathan Bailey plays Fiero, also the Scarecrow from Wicked, Fellow Travelers, Jurassic World Rebirth, and Bridgerton. Ethan Slater plays Bach, also the Tin Man from Wicked, the SpongeBob musical live on stage. Yes, he is SpongeBob. Fosse Verdon and Murphy Brown. Marissa Bode plays Nessa Rose, also the Wicked Witch of the East from Wicked, Wicked for Good, No Roles Written, and Car Sleepers. Okay, so that's the creatives. Let's go ahead and go over and let's get into these reviews because there's a lot of them in there. We're going to start with the critics reviews, then the Watchtower report, then we're going to move on to the audience reviews and see what happens from there. In the Watchtower reports, we're going to start with Lee McCoy from Drum Dums, and he says, even though there is some enjoyment and one real moment of heart and emotion, the movie ultimately falls flat and doesn't have the crescendos that the first movie has. All right, Sarah Vincent from Sarah G. Vincent Views says, Wicked for Good is Orwell for kids of any age, especially theater kids and the fans who would love it regardless of quality. It still could have been shorter or condensed into one movie. And Allison Johnson from In Between Drafts says, a lumbering, poorly shot slog of a ride that, in its pursuit of epic maximalism, stumbles into dull regurgitation instead. Lauren Bradshaw from Fangirl Freakout says, Wicked for Good is a magical, emotional conclusion to one of the best musicals of all time. All right, and Nell Minow from Movie Mom says, Jonathan Bailey gives Fierro quite a smolder as he goes from dancing through life to thinking about choices to following his heart. It is subtle, not a term that comes to mind when considering the joyful maximalism of the Wicked film. All right, there we have the critics' reviews. So they were a little bit all over the place. Most of them were better than bad and not amazing. So let's go ahead and talk about the signal flare. So here it is. The signal's been lit. And now it's time to see what rises from the smoke. These reviews come in hot, judged by Todd alone. I haven't read them yet. So what you hear is pure, unfiltered reaction. We'll start in the shadows with the bad takes, move through the mid-tier maybes, and end in the light with the ones that actually get it right. Sometimes we find a hero in the words, sometimes just the ashes of bad writing. Time to find out together. Okay, and this is a 1 out of 10 from Rye Valley Emerson. Okay, and this one is called This One Made Me Mad for Good. Wicked for Good is a significant step down from part 1. While the first installment felt cohesive, energetic, and emotionally grounded, the sequel wanders without purpose. Part 1 delivered strong musical moments, clear character motivations, and a sense of genuine enchantment. In contrast, Part 2 feels like a hollow continuation made only to wrap up loose ends. The storytelling is noticeably weaker. What was charming and tightly paced in Part 1 becomes dragged out and unfocused here. Emotional arcs that were compelling in the first film are rushed or mishandled, making the payoff feel unearned. Even the musical numbers, vibrant and memorable in Part 1, are overstuffed with and oddly lifeless this time. As if the movie is trying too hard to impress instead of simply telling a story. The chemistry and performances that elevated Part 1 also lose their spark. Instead of building on what worked before, the sequel dilutes the characters and strips them of the depth they previously had. In the end, Wicked for Good lacks the charm, cohesiveness, and emotional resonance that made Part 1 so captivating. It's a disappointing and unnecessary follow-up that never recaptures the magic. All right. And here's a 3-star from Peter 0969. So it's a little bit longer. Okay, here we go. This is called Messier and Unbalanced, despite its beautiful and charming atmosphere. Now, personally, I wasn't too big on the first Wicked, nor the play, but I did enjoy the music and some of the artistic choices. Unfortunately, this continuation fails to live up to the charm, the play, and the previous movie. Throughout the visuals and production designs are beautiful and colorful. It helps to establish the world of Oz. The setting, the characters being shown, alongside with the makeup, costume work, colorful patterns, and sound designs. Their performances are good, especially Cynthia Erivo, as Erivo does a great job on capturing her character and role. Ariana Grande is pretty good as well, alongside with the rest of the cast members. But what makes this movie fail is the messy pacing, storytelling, and the character dynamics. The director struggles to balance out between the tone, atmosphere, and style properly, as it goes quite all over the place, which makes it confusing, alongside with the writing offering cliche tropes and concepts that didn't work as it thinks it did. The characters aren't interesting. Sadly, I disagree with many others, but I felt the characters lacked chemistry, as the dynamics and style didn't work and feels off-putting. Because of this, it made certain sequences feel boring and uneven. The presentation is ugly, particularly the colors, the portrait, the dialogue is pretty clunky, and the musical score and singing, unlike the first one, the songs aren't memorable or good. The songwriting feels bland and clunky, and at times, some of the music feels like if AI was used. Ouch. Overall, it's a downgrade of the first one. I'm sure the fans will like it, but those who loved Wicked might not like this one as the first one. Okay, so there's the bad ones. Got a couple of them that are kind of decently sized. I got a couple. Do they have good points? Yeah, they do. I think it was kind of a drag, and it's kind of what I felt too. It was too long, and I think that's going to be a theme throughout all the reviews, good or bad. Do I think that it was bad? I don't know. We'll get into it. I haven't actually done the review system, so I'm going to kind of do it in the moment. Usually I kind of pre-do it, and then kind of if I need to change something, I do it, but I haven't done anything because I wanted all the reviews that I read to kind of influence me a little bit on this. So there we go. There's the bad. Now we're going to get in the mid-tier ones. So we're going to start this one off with a 4 out of 10 from Movie Man 6-413-929510. If they had kept the Wicked adaptation to just one film, it might have worked better. Wicked for Good is the sequel to the first Wicked film from 2024. The follow-up is directed by John M. Chu, who also directed the first installment. After Elphaba, Cynthia Erivo exposes the Wizard of Oz, Jeff Goldblum, by revealing his lies, he turns the people against her. He also declares Glinda, Ariana Grande, the Good Witch, the symbol of goodness, to give the people hope. But that hope is false, but built entirely on lies. Elphaba now lives in exile in the forest and is known as the Wicked Witch of the West. Despite this, she still tries to fight the wizard's deception and convince the people of the truth. The two witches must come together and decide, do they continue the lie of false hope, or do they reveal the truth and risk the people losing all hope? First Wicked film mainly told backstory Glinda, the Good Witch, and Elphaba, the Wicked Witch, and how the Wizard of Oz manipulated their friendship for his own benefit. In the sequel, the two witches must face the consequences of their choices, though this may strain their friendship if they refuse to stand up to the wizard. The first Wicked film is only 5 minutes shorter than the musical is based on. Still, director John M. Chu chose to split the story into two films so that nothing from the musical had to be left out. Because of that choice, the two films combined have a longer runtime than the stage musical. They had plenty of space, but at times it feels like they gave themselves too much space, filling the extra time with hints and references that heavily lean into the Wizard of Oz story. This provides some additional background on characters from the film, but not enough to truly get to know them. Fans of the Wizard of Oz can fill in the gaps themselves thanks to their familiarity with the characters from the previous stories or adaptations. For viewers unfamiliar with the Wizard of Oz characters, these roles may feel underdeveloped, as if they're suddenly watching new characters who aren't fully explored. Although Wicked and the Wizard of Oz are essentially two separate narratives, they are merged here in a messy, rushed, and sometimes forced way. The extra runtime across the two films did allow for every song from the musical to be included. There were even room for new original songs that fit the films but aren't part of the stage production. As a result, more emphasis is placed on both the classic and newly added songs rather than fleshing out the Wizard of Oz characters, who end up feeling like an added side characters, especially for viewers who don't know the story of the earlier films. Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande deliver strong performances and impressive vocals. Their characters do feel different from how they were portrayed in the first film, as the story pushes them to act in new ways. However, because the Wicked and Wizard of Oz storylines are combined so forcefully, it sometimes is unclear why certain characters make the choices they do. The returning cast also performs well, but not all characters are given enough development due to the rushed pace created by blending the two narratives. Okay. That is definitely a mouthful. I gotta really pick shorter reviews, but you know what? We're gonna keep this going. I got one more of the mid reviews, and then we'll stop and talk about it for just a second. This one's from Brady-235-381799. Gave it a 5 out of 10, and this is just titled Wicked for Meh. I love the first movie and have watched it at least 10 times. Why is the second one so drastically less in all ways? The second act even has my favorite songs, As Long as You're Mine and No Good Deed, and I was very satisfied with them in the movies, but everything else around it was rushed or dragged out, dark or hokey, and generally flat. And as I fully expected, the two new songs were uninspired and unmemorable. Seriously, an entire song of Glinda walking around her home like an episode of Ads Celebrity Homes. This movie either ran out of steam or was done in parallel to the part one, but with the B team. Okay. This would have been an epic masterpiece as one movie, but as two, it makes the second half feel like the caboose that's missing the front half of the train. Ooh. Okay, again, good points. Good points. I kind of am with you there. The length, and it is uninspiring, and all the good parts are in the first one. I'm gonna get into more in that. I do agree with a lot of this. So you know what? Let's get into the good ones. We've done some bad. We've done some mid. It's time to get into the better reviews because I know that's what you want to hear. This one is from Alexander Gotez P. And it's a 7 out of 10. Warning, spoilers. And this one is titled, Not So Popular. Good, not bad, not excellent, just good. And for a movie this hyped, that's both surprising and a little disappointing. Let's start with what actually works, because there is a lot to enjoy. The scenery is spectacular. Some shots generally make you stop and wonder how they even filmed that. Ariana delivers one of the strongest performances in the whole franchise. Grounded, charismatic, and vocally on point. And as a conclusion to the first part, the movie is satisfying. It closes the loop, ties the emotional knots, and gives fans a clean farewell. But here's where things fall apart. It never reaches its potential. For a story with this much mythology, lore, fan base, and pure visual power, the movie feels strangely hollow. The songs, which should be the emotional spine, land flat. Compared to the iconic hits of Part 1, it's not that they're bad, they're just forgettable. And it's a musical, that's a problem. Same story decisions also feel questionable. Morrible outspelling a tornado? Sure, it's fantasy, but even inside the rules of Oz, it feels off. It's like the script sometimes forgets the internal logic of its own world. And the biggest flaw? The pacing is rushed, extremely rushed. There's no breathing room for the story or the audience. Big emotional beats come and go before they even have time to feel them. The first part should have landed right before Galinda's wedding, a natural cliffhanger that would have given part 2 more space to land its moments instead of forcing everything into the overstuffed finale. That's a good point. It's strange how the movie lingers on in some scenes that didn't need extra minutes, like the I Am Wonderful sequence, which feels awkwardly long, which, while sprinting through crucial ones, Glinda's wedding, her fallout with Elphaba, the romance between Fiyero and Elphaba, the political tension, all of it rushed. By the end, every character looks like they're running towards their plot objectives rather than living them. The performances are good, but they don't feel natural because the movie doesn't let anything breathe. A visually stunning, well-performed musical that closes the story but never unlocks its full power. Good, sometimes very good, but never magical. Okay, and for the final review, here we go. This one is from Burlix-68736. This is a 9 out of 10, and it's titled, it's not a sequel, it's the second part of one whole. Warning, spoilers. First of all, it needs to be stated that Wicked and Wicked for Good are Act 1 and Act 2 of one play. For people who are saying this is not as good as the first are looking at it like a sequel and not the story overall as one whole story, Act 1 and Act 2. This also is not Dorothy's story. It never was. That's why she's barely in it. Also, this is a Universal movie, not a Disney movie. I've been a fan of this musical since it first hit the stage in 2003 and adore the musical as a whole. Finally getting to see the song Wicked Witch of the East finally be able to be played out on film was great. The acting was amazing. Bach creeped me out with his anger and rage. There's too much to get into, but you could tell that this cast cared about the story. Jeff Goldblum absolutely shined in as his wizard. Ariana was phenomenal with her more serious tone, and she played phenomenally. Irva with her run moment gave me chills. The rest of the cast were too amazing. Not to mention the setting of the forest, the Camel Co. were just amazing set pieces. Not to mention the sound design and the sound department. Top-notch work. I have a tiny small gripe with this film, and that's the pacing. It felt short. If you've seen the trailer, you know there are parts missing. I get it. Things get cut because of flow, but the thing is, the flow had an issue. We arrived too soon at the conclusion. It needed something more, but I must say, as a final edit for the film, it's satisfying, and it made me happy finally seeing the second half as the Wicked of a whole. Okay, I want to address something they said in the beginning about this being Act 2 of a musical of one story. That is true. But it's a movie, and it's the second one of the movie. The normal person going to the movie is going to think it's a sequel. Get it? I get your point. However, a lot of people aren't. So there we go. That's all I'll say about that. Okay. Did the reviews change your mind? What do you think? Do you agree? I think there's good points all around. I think all the reviews that I picked weren't just all hating on it, which I think was really good in my picks because I just like the titles. So I think that's good. There's points. People back them up. Good reviews. Well done. It is time for me to do mine, and I've been kind of regretting it because I don't know where it's going to land on me. So let me go ahead and let me tell you about the Signal review system. It's just a unique Gotham-themed rating system designed to help you decide if a movie or TV show deserves to light up the night or fade into the shadows. Each title is scored across 5 key categories: plot, acting, entertainment, visuals, and rewatchability, with up to 5 points per category, totaling 25 points. Bonus points can be awarded for standout elements, legendary performances, iconic moments, or deducted for major missteps, plot holes, cringe factor. The final score determines if it'll light up the night or not, because not every story is worthy of the Signal, and that's where the SRS comes in. Okay, let's start this out with the plot. What is the story here? So the story is really Alpha trying to put together this rebellion that she's starting in the first one, and she never really gets anywhere with it, and she's on her own the entire time. Nobody comes to help her. She gets her love, she gets all that part, but building a revolution with as far as the Madam, the most powerful magic user in all of Oz, should have been able to do a lot more damage with a lot more time and some type of revolution that never quite forms. But the other parts, I got some other crux here, like the Oz on everything. I think that's dumb. I couldn't get over that at all. Like, oh, cool, we're for Oz. It's like, okay, is Oz the country or is Oz the world? I don't know. But yeah, so I'm guessing for plot of part 2 or for good, we're going to do, right, I'm going to kind of go 2.5. I'm going to round up to a 3. Writing, did they sell it? This is an iconic story. I love Wizard of Oz. I really, really dug the first Wicked. However, this one I did not like as much because nothing is memorable in it. Like, I can't think of, maybe the fight scene between Elphaba and Glinda was pretty cool. It just didn't have the magic that the first part had, and it should have been one movie, should have been one 3.5-hour movie a year ago or 6 months ago, and it would have taken everything. It would have taken all the awards. Now, so for that, I'm going to give this a 2. Entertainment, is this worth time? This is definitely worth your time. If you like the first one, go see it. See it in the theater, see it in the big screen, see it in all the things. So for that, I am going to give that a 5 for entertainment. Visuals here, eye candy, man, there was just a lot of cool stuff to look at. There was a couple things I didn't like. Ariana Grande, for one, like performance wise, is just amazing. The first Wicked movie was really Cynthia Erivo's time to shine, and she did, and she's great in this too. But this one was really Ariana Grande's time to shine, and she does. I mean, her performance in this, will probably get her an Oscar, at least an Oscar nom. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Is she going to be the lead or supporting? Likewise with Cynthia Erivo, is she the lead or the supporting? I don't know, because they both felt like leads to me. So I don't know how the Oscars really do that, but anyway, it was really, really good. There's lots of cool stuff to look at it. I'm gonna give that a 4 for visuals. Rewatchability. Am I gonna watch this again? No, because it's too long. I mean, maybe when it's out and I can watch like part 1 and part 2 together and see how I feel like when I do it as a whole. So I guess for that, I'll give this a 2. Now, bonuses or penalties, I am going to give this a bonus point. I think for Ariana Grande, man, she killed it. She absolutely just slayed this. This is a performance. She should probably be able to get to do anything she wants after this, and she should. I mean, my kids love her music. I'm not really my scene. I don't mind her music. But she's a really great actress, and I would definitely watch her more and stuff. So I'm going to give it a plus a bonus point for that. But I'm also going to give this a penalty point as well, because the songs were not there. The 2 new songs were stupid. The 2 new original songs were really dumb. It was going to kind of cancel that each other out. So let's count this out. We have 10. We have 16. 16 out of 25. There you go. So I'm halfway is what, that 12 and a half. So I'm a little over half. So I'm getting like 60% probably, a little higher at 65, something like that. Not bad at all. So let's go ahead and here is the final verdict. Let's go ahead and go over what everybody else is rating. Let's see where I kind of fit in. In the signal scale, I did a 16 out of 25. I gave it a bonus point for Ariana Grande's amazing acting in this. Probably best of her career, honestly. And then I also, because the songs weren't that great in this one, especially the 2 new ones that was big hype, yeah, they fell flat. So I even took the minus point there. IMDb has this rated as 7.2 out of 10. In Metacritic, got a 58 out of 100. That's on 57 critic reviews. The user score is a 7.6 out of 10 based on 259 user ratings. Letterboxd is at a 3.8 out of 5. Now, in Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter has us at 70%, but the popcorn meter, that's the audience, has us at a 95%. Wow. Okay, so I'm lower than a lot of them, but kind of right on base. I'm right there at the lower end of it. So good movie. Go see it. Man, it's just an experience to go see in the theater, and you should definitely take that. So with that, Fast Signals from the Multiverse is back, and now I'm leaving. The signal fades into the night sky. You know we'll light it up again. If you caught the glow, follow the podcast, drop a 5-star review, and share it so we can spread the signal across the multiverse. Want to get your voice heard? This is the emergency beacon. Send in your thoughts, theories, and hot takes. Might just spark a live signal stream where we break it all down together. For more quick hits and weekly spotlights, join me on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, where I shine the light on comics, shows, and movies all week long. Keep your eyes on the sky, because wherever there's fandom, the signal's always shining. Until next time, stay awesome and stay under the signal.